Hey everybody, this is Shawol 360 and I'm here to give you a SHINee review. I call it a SHINee review because I'm going to be talking about the album, I'm going to be talking a little bit about comeback activities, and I'm going to be showing you the versions of the album. Now this isn't going to be a formal unboxing, I'm going to show you basically some highlights instead of going through every single page, and then I'm going to talk about how I feel about the album, so hopefully you'll enjoy this kind of condensed version of what I normally do. So let's start with the versions here. We have 2 photo book versions and we have 4 member versions. The member versions are jewel cases, which I feel is appropriate. I think that's appropriate. I don't know if I would have been able to handle having 4 member versions of this photo book size. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the content. I always love more SHINee content, but when it comes to being able to store these things, I think it is really nice to have the 2 larger ones and then have the much smaller ones. Also, if you have a significant SHINee collection like I do, you have a lot of jewel cases already, especially if you have a lot of their Japanese regular albums, so this should fit on the shelf quite nicely, I believe. But yeah, I'm going to show you pulls, I'm going to show you a few images here and there, and let's talk about the songs. So let's start with Onu's version here. This is Onu's cover, and then this is the back. The track listing is right there. Hopefully you can see. It's Don't Call Me, Heart Attack, Marry You, Code, I Really Want You, Kiss Kiss, Body Rhythm, Attention, and Kind. I had to get used to Don't Call Me. I'm just going to be honest with you. It's not that I think Don't Call Me is a bad song. It's just that Don't Call Me is not what I'm used to hearing from SHINee. So initially I was kind of like, what is this? But after a while I really got into it, and now I feel like I see why it's a title track. It definitely is a grower, but I think it is something different for SHINee, while at the same time actually being a lot like stuff that they've done before. Now, I'll tell you why I say that, because a lot of people were like, this is something we've never heard from SHINee. SHINee doesn't normally do this kind of music. This is definitely more NCT style. And for those saying that it's NCT style, you're right, because the song was actually produced and written by someone who's written NCT songs before. However, I think when I say that it sounds a lot like stuff that SHINee has done in the past, I'm talking SHINee pre-Sherlock, which a lot of people, if you're new to the fandom, you may not have gone back and listened to like the Hello album or 2009 Year of Us, but if you go back to some of those really early albums, they had a lot of songs that were kind of disjointed is not the word, but just had like a lot of different elements all mashed into one. If you go back and you listen to that SHINee World song, stuff like that, where it's like singing and then rapping and then back to singing and then tempo changes. So, you know, I can't say that this is something completely outside of their scope or completely outside their history, because I know that they've always been very experimental. But it was something that SHINee had kind of moved away from in later years. So hearing it again, it was interesting because it is something that most people don't equate with SHINee now. But the song is really interesting. I like the way that the song sounds. I especially like the kind of Latin piano breakdown in the bridge. I find that part to be super beautiful. And so I enjoy Don't Call Me. I don't skip it when I listen to the album on Spotify. Also, I'm recording this March the 2nd, so saying the word Spotify feels weird because Spotify has recently taken off a bunch of songs that are distributed by Kakao M. Some of them, I believe, are coming back onto the platform, but as of right now, there's still quite a few that are missing, and a lot of them that have been restored, their view counts have completely reset. So something had 1 million plays, it got back down to 0 when it got put back on Spotify, which that's really upsetting if you are a fan of the artist, because whenever they do those end of the year tallies and they show like who's the most played artist for this, that, and the other, a lot of those votes are going to be gone because those views are gone. I guess it's good that it happened at the beginning of the year, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, just thought I'd get off on that tangent while we're talking about things. So Don't Call Me. Again, like I was saying, solid title track, definitely interesting. Also, SHINee, I have to say, their title tracks aren't always their best songs anyway. For me, this is my personal opinion, for me, I never really thought that Everybody was the strongest song on the Everybody album. There's a lot of people who would think otherwise. There's a lot of people who say that Everybody is a super strong song, but when I listen to the Everybody album, I tend to gravitate towards 1 Minute Back, Queen of New York, Close the Door, even Colorful are really important songs to me. So that's why I say, like, I don't necessarily expect to always believe that the title track is going to be my favorite song. Even on an album like One of One is a great title track. I don't think you'll find any Shawol who disagrees that One of One is a great title track. However, Don't Let Me Go is on that album, and that's a beautiful song. Again, as I had said, Prism, Shift, there's so many B-sides that are just really great on that particular album. And so that's the reason why, for me personally, I don't expect the title track to always be indicative of what the entire album is going to be like, and I don't ever expect the title track to be the song that I like the most when I'm listening to the album. And SHINee definitely delivered some stuff that I liked a lot more on immediate listen than Don't Call Me. In fact, the very next song, Heart Attack. I mean, I've not ever heard a bad song called Heart Attack. Most songs called Heart Attack tend to be really wonderful. But when I heard Heart Attack, the very first time, I heard the snippet from the phone calls. So one of the promotions that SM did for this album prior to its release is they did a phone call that you could call into this line, and you would have these voice messages from the members of SHINee. And I believe it was Minho's message, one of his messages, that he left a snippet of Heart Attack on there. And when I listened to the snippet, even though it was grainy and, very lo-fi because it was a telephone message, I was like, oh yeah, when I hear this song, it's going to be over. And sure enough, got to hear the version on the album, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is SHINee. Like, this is SHINee. If you had to talk about like what SHINee has sounded like over the last 5 years, Heart Attack is SHINee over the last 5 years. It's got kind of a vintage R&B soul sound to it. It's a little bit funky. It's definitely very smooth, but not mellow. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love Heart Attack. I want to listen to it forever. I want to live in a world where Heart Attack is played in all of the stores. But it's just a really great song. And right then I'm like, okay, SHINee's back. Like, Don't Call Me definitely is a moment and a mood, but hearing Heart Attack, it absolutely put me in the mind of I'm listening to a SHINee album. So it just gets better from there. After that, it was Marry You, which Marry You was one that they did a showcase for the album prior to the album being released. They released it on the SM channel. The songs and the performance are all still there. But they did Marry You, and I remember when I listened to it during the showcase, I was like, I don't know if I like this song. I feel like whoever is doing the audio engineering on the live performance, they're not doing a good job of mixing the mics with the background music, so the singing is actually a little bit louder, and I can't really tell what the background music actually sounds like. I love the fact that each number corresponds to a track. So like if you were dialing your number, it'd be a song. So actually, I think that'd be, well, no, that's too much like giving out your personal information, but I was gonna say, you could do like, what are the first 3 digits of your area code, and those are your favorite songs. And so like, I live in Colorado right now, so it'd be Body Rhythm, Don't Call Me, Kind, even though that's not my phone number at all, but that would be the area code for the phone numbers where I currently live. So I don't know, just fun little exercise. Anyway, Marry You, like I said, first listen, I did not think that it was giving me the best impression, but I could tell that there was definitely some potential there. There was something there that once I got the polished version, I was really gonna like it. And my goodness, when I heard the polished version, I'm like, this has such like a West Coast California vibe to it. It definitely sounds like something from kind of the late 90s, early 2000s. And it's so sweet and so endearing and just such a such a nice vibe from SHINee. Like, it's just such a nice sound from them. And especially like the fact that it's all of them together doing this kind of modulation during the chorus. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. So I really, really enjoyed that track a lot. Next is Code. Wow. I have a hard time picking what my favorite song in this album is, but I'm beginning to think that Code might be my favorite song because I feel like it's the song I go back to over and over and over again when I'm thinking about this album, because for some reason that song just feels like it's its own little world. Like, there's just something about the sound texture of it. It has a very modern, stripped back kind of technical sound to it, and then as the song goes along further, more instrumentation is added until all of a sudden it just feels like you're swept up in the world of this song and its chorus. I also like how everyone sings on the chorus and then it drops out for single voices and then it gets back to everybody again, because one thing that I was talking with a friend of mine about is that he said that a lot of the songs on Story of Light he wasn't as fond of because everyone in SHINee sang out the entire chorus all together, and he liked kind of quieter chorus moments. And I feel like the song Code, they really did a good job during production of providing a lot of texture to that chorus, so it just makes it super interesting. And then when you get to the bridge just really builds up and swirls, and I don't know, it's a magnificent song. It's produced really well. They all sound incredible on this song. I enjoy it immensely. I can't complain about it at all. If Code had been the title track, I think a lot more people would have felt like they were hearing signature SHINee. However, I think that Code also would require them to be a little bit more serious because of the way that the song sounds. Whereas Don't Call Me, they get a chance to be very playful on stage. And personally, I think that's kind of what they were looking for with this comeback. I mean, because everything that they've done regarding promotion for this comeback has been super playful. Like, all of their appearances on, like, Knowing Brothers, the relay dance, I Use Palette, like, they've been doing so many things where they're being so fun. And they're just like, I don't know how to describe it. They're just playing around. They're not really being very serious. And I think probably the thing for Shawol that brings us the most enjoyment about this promotion is seeing Taemin so happy. Not that he's the only member that's seemed happy during these promotions, but I don't know. It seems like with Super M, maybe because Taemin is a little bit older, he feels a responsibility to not be as goofy as he could be when he's with SHINee. But when he's with SHINee, he's like, that's what the older boys are for. I'm here to have fun. I'm the maknae. And so when we see him, he's just so funny. And he's not even funny like he's doing extra gregarious stuff. In fact, when you see him, he tends to let the others take over, especially like Key. He lets Key do a lot of the talking in the interviews. But also, like, on the side, when Key's talking to people, Taemin is just like clowning around because he's so comfortable, and his brothers kind of like stand by him and let him joke and laugh with them and make it to where it's not so serious. And he seems so comfortable with them. Like, they support him in a way that I feel like he hasn't felt in the last couple of years. Not that the Super M boys don't support him, but it is a little bit different because he hasn't spent nearly as much time with them, except for maybe Kai, as he has with the members of SHINee. So yeah, this comeback has been really good for him, I think, emotionally. But also, like, Minho has been having the freaking time of his life as well. Like, I don't know if it's just because, like, after being in the Marines and having to take things seriously, he's just like, I enjoy the freedom of being able to do whatever the hell I want. But Minho absolutely has been just so fun. Like, he just doesn't take anything seriously. He lets them pick on him, and he picks on them right back. And he's just so playful and enjoying himself. It's really nice. It's really, really nice. All right, so let's talk about I Really Want You. I Really Want You is a strange song to me because it is very different for SHINee. But SHINee's always done really experimental stuff, like I said earlier. So it's not like way out of what SHINee would normally do, but it's not as identifiably contemporary urban as you're used to hearing from SHINee. It definitely is much more pop sensible, but it's got kind of a funky guitar to it, I guess, is what is the standout to me. But I found it very interesting because it's like the kind of song that had Junghyun been involved in the making of this album, I think he would have had a ball recording, because it's just so fun. It's funky, it's poppy, it's got these weird little vocal signatures in the back, a lot of little interesting layering. I like it a lot. I think it's a really good song. Probably if I had to pick a song that wasn't my absolute favorite, it would probably be I Really Want You. So let's go to the next song, which is Kiss Kiss. I like Kiss Kiss. I like Kiss Kiss a lot. I think it's really, really good. I just know, for me personally with SHINee, they do kind of this like in-between sound so well. I don't know what you call that, but it's like not super up tempo, but not even mid tempo. I don't know. It's just them. They do a lot of stuff that like you're hype but low key hype. And Kiss Kiss for me is that song. And I really have enjoyed that song quite a bit. I've listened to it a lot. I heard rumor that perhaps the kissing sound is Minho, and if it is, yay. But, you know, if it's any other member, I don't care. I still enjoy it anyway. But I like Kiss Kiss a lot. Kiss Kiss is a good song as well. It's a lot of favorites for a lot of people. So it's been received very, very well. The whole album is being received very, very well. Like, there's not any song that people have been up in arms and like, oh, what is this? You know, definitely, I don't think that there's a single song on this album that has gotten as visceral a response as, like, a Wolf Wolf has. When I think about, like, there's certain songs on certain SHINee albums where fans are like, listen, I like everything but that. That is a skip. And I feel like there's nothing like that on this album. There's nothing to get the fans very divided about. Everything is generally very, very good. Now, let's talk about my probably third or fourth favorite song, Body Rhythm. I had mentioned a while ago, about how I thought that Body Rhythm sounded a lot like Side to Side by Ariana Grande. I still stand by that judgment. I still think that it sounds a lot like Side to Side, and I think that that's a great sound on SHINee. I think that SHINee sounds really good with that style. Is a reggae sound, which is not something that SHINee has done a lot. A lot of people, when they first heard it, they compared it to like Coco Bop, which I get that. I get why you would do that, because Coco Bop is probably the most reggae influenced song on the SM catalog, so it's an easy go-to point to say this song sounds like that song. But yeah, I think that Body Rhythm is a song that I really need to see performed live. I need to see what kind of choreo we're talking about with this song. I need to see who's singing what parts. There's a lot of moments in some of these SHINee songs where Minho and Key melt together very well. I wanted to make sure I mention that, because when we're talking about vocal performances here, Onu sounds fucking dynamite. Like, Onu's voice, he hits it out the park every single time. Never a dull moment, never flat, always in control. I would say probably the way that he sings the Heart Attack, the little coda at the end of the chorus for Heart Attack, perfect. But Key has been sounding really good. Key, some of his runs, some of his high notes, the extended notes that he's been leaving out there, Key kills this album. But there are a couple of moments where like Minho will be singing and it'll lead into Key where they have very similar tones, and there are a few performances that I'm looking forward to seeing just to try to figure out like who's singing what, because it's very interesting how much Minho's voice has grown, which I don't know when he had time to do all this practicing because he's been in the Marines. But yeah, Minho's voice has grown tremendously. He's carrying full half verses now. But yeah, him and Key, whenever they sing back to back, I'm always surprised by the transition because it's so utterly seamless. So these are all pictures mostly from the Don't Call Me video set. Everyone had a problem with this hat. Everyone was like, what is this hat, Key? Why was this the choice? Between that and like the kind of flower feather hat he's wearing in the video, a lot of us were like, hey man, you want to explain that? You want to tell us what's going on here? Minho and his red hair and no shirt in the video for Don't Call Me. A moment. A complete moment. Oh my gosh. He's trying to kill me. All right. Keep going. Attention. Attention is one of those songs that out of all of the songs on the album, I feel like it's probably the most low-key, the most sounding like a B-side. It's still a really good song. It's got great pacing to it. It definitely is a great transition from body rhythm to Kind because it doesn't go up a whole bunch more, but it doesn't also stay a steady down. In fact, I would say Kind is the closest you get to a ballad on this album. Everything else is either mid-tempo or up-tempo for the most part. But yeah, Attention's a good song, but it's kind of forgettable compared to the rest of the album, in my opinion. Not saying that's what everybody else feels, just in my personal opinion. And then we're on Kind. And Kind is one of those songs that I have to say, it's not my genre. It's definitely something that I could see a lot of other people really enjoying if they like that kind of pop sensibility. Kind definitely sounds like a song I would expect to hear on like Key's solo. If Key was doing another solo, Kind very much feels like it would fit in to that. But the lyrics are really pretty. The song is really soothing, and it's a nice alternative to doing a straight up ballad. And also Kind, when you look at the lyrics, it sounds a lot like it's a thank you for like watching out for SHINee, protecting SHINee, and you know, just giving them the time to do what they needed to do before they gave us this comeback. Because that's the thing, like SHINee needed the break. As much as all of us have missed SHINee for the last 2 years after Story of Light, I really think the military was a great thing for SHINee. I think taking the time to kind of do something different than what they've been doing as idols was something that they needed. I think they needed a glimpse at what would be different if this wasn't their life. And it gives them a chance to go back with fresh ideas and fresh opinions, and also a newfound appreciation for what they do, and also wanting to make sure that if they're gonna do it, now that they're a mature group, that they're doing it in a way that makes them feel the best about it. Like not going back and just doing whatever bullshit, but them actually going back and doing things that they want to do, being styled the way they want to be styled, making songs that sound the way they feel like SHINee needs to sound moving into the future. So with that in mind, I think that this album is amazing for them. I think if this is where SHINee is going and they want to take us on this type of musical journey, I'm here for it. The only thing that I desire at this point, Taemin is soon running into military service. It won't be that long. So I'm hoping that SHINee will give us like one more release before Taemin has to go to the military. Even if it's just a mini album, I would still appreciate the opportunity to like enjoy them all together before Taemin's got to go in. Also, I hope that the other members of SHINee still do something while Taemin is gone. Not saying that they have to do an OT3 album, because I'm not even sure if they even want something like that. It's hard enough doing OT4. But yeah, I hope that they do other things. Like I hope that Minho does a project. I hope that Onu does another solo. I hope that Key does another solo. Key's solos, high key, low key, are really good. If you haven't been paying attention to Key's solo, you really should. The song Imagine from the Face album is such a good song. But yeah, I think that with SHINee, it's just one of those things where the comfort is in being together, the comfort is in hearing all of those voices, the comfort is in them having their own particular style and sound, but yet and still always managing to find a way to be current and be a part of the cultural zeitgeist that we're experiencing at this time. SHINee is just, they're that group, they're those boys, they do that thing, they are the movement, they are the moment. I love SHINee. I love them with my whole heart, and I really feel like with SHINee that they are that group that is meant for the long haul for a number of reasons. Not saying that other groups aren't, but I feel like SHINee's meant for the long haul because they've decided what they want out of this career. You know, like I said, going to the military, I think it gave them a lot of time to decide what their sound was going to be, how they want to approach idolhood, the levels of fun they want to have, but also, you know, how hard they're willing to push themselves. And I think once you go into an endeavor like being an idol with a clear course in mind, it makes it a lot easier to decide that this is your life, that this is something you want to do for a really long time, because they've got the experience under their belt to know what it is and not to be surprised by the toll that idol life takes on you. I think they've got enough experience to do the things that they need to do to take care of themselves. And I think that at this point in the game, they are not out here looking for validation externally. I don't think that they're really pushing for album sales. I don't think they're really pushing for music show wins. They're just basically wanting to make their art and have their experiences. And that is the mark of an artist. And an idol is great, but an artist can last forever. And these are artists. All 5 of them are artists. All right, thank you for watching, and I'll talk with you later. Bye.